Hey y'all, it's Andy here, and I have decided to make the spring zodiac shift readings entirely free this season. I don't want there to be any paywall between us when the astrology is so wild this spring. So the shift readings for all zodiac signs for the spring season will be posted in their entirety here on YouTube and on my website, unseenhintstarot.com. You can access them either place. Now, these readings are meant to carry you through the entire spring season. So it's one reading for the whole spring. It drops at the spring equinox. I recommend watching it at the beginning of the season so you can kind of get an idea of the themes that might be showing up for your sun, moon, rising, perfection sign, Venus, maybe, since Venus is going retrograde, whatever you're tracking in your own astrology chart this season. Find the corresponding reading, watch it at the beginning of the season to get a little preview as to what your spring shift might be. And then midway through the season, maybe around April, check back in with the reading, rewatch it, because you'll be able to bring your lived experience of the actual spring, however it's playing out in your life, to that reading, and I guarantee it's going to hit different. And then at the end of the season, you'll look back and watch the readings one more time to connect the dots as to how you have actually shifted throughout the season and get that beautiful hindsight magic. It really is the best part. Okay. So happy spring. It is my gift to you, and enjoy the shifts. Hey Taurus, welcome to your spring 2025 shape shift reading, where we're looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like throughout the season. I'm Andy, I'm your reader, and I am joined today by the Queer Tarot, the Slow Holler Tarot, a very rare queer collab deck, amazing that I have a copy, and the Poesis Oracle. Okay, Taurus. It's a big spring. We've got eclipse season this spring, the eclipse in Aries and the eclipse in Virgo. We've got Mercury and Venus going retrograde in Aries. We've got Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries. It's going to be a wild time. All right, Taurus, let's see. What is the shape shift for Taurus this spring? Page of Pentacles. Yes, very much your energy. Very true, very true. Okay. Let's see where that is going. What shape are you shifting into? Wow. Six of Cups. The shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into. It just straight up looks like you've got something to offer someone. Maybe someone from your past, maybe some sort of like, hey, I'd like to reconnect over this thing that we once shared. Because the Six of Cups really shows us this like sweet, innocent exchange, connection between two kids. Wow. It's also a card of like a return to simplicity and innocence and play and nostalgia. Very like simple, joyful ways of being together. It can indicate, you know, it could be romantic or platonic, whatever, but it's just like a reconnection, wanting to reconnect. Okay, cool. What does that shapeshift look and feel like for Taurus? Wow, geez. Okay, this is super, super happy. Really joyful reading. Okay, let's look at it together. So you're shifting from the Page of Pentacles, which honestly looks a little salty. Like this person's face has a little bit of salt to it. Maybe like a little suspicious. There's some tension around their mouth. They're giving a little side eye. And there's something about like the arms crossing in front of the chest that is like hesitant to open up. They want to. They've got this kind of thing that they're offering, but they're not fully extending it. They're almost like holding it back towards themselves a little bit. So Page of Pentacles, it's the first step. They even look like they're mid-step. This sort of initial, maybe hesitant step to reconnect with something from your past or someone. In this like, yeah, hey, I want to reconnect with this thing that I used to do, or I want to reconnect with this person that I used to be close with. And what that shapeshift of reconnection looks and feels like is actually just like this really peak emotional experience of being together. We see this happy family like playing and enjoying a beautiful day outside with a rainbow. It looks like they're on the dance floor, like outside of a barn, like having this like barn dance community joy moment. That could feel like almost like a nostalgic return to a past state of joy and togetherness. And hey, remember when we used to be family? Remember when we used to be friends? Remember when I used to have this activity that I loved to do and I just haven't done it in so long? Something like this, Taurus. There's something like this, but it's like you're shifting out of the hesitancy. You're shifting out of just this really slight sort of suspicion about it, or like holding back, into, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go out on this limb and say, hey, I want to do this again, or I want to talk to you again, or I want to, we should have a party like we used to, like the old days, something like that. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. Really positive shape shift here, Taurus. A lot of these cards have this like really stark black background, and it's kind of interesting that you're shifting out of that into this like pink and blue skies, into brighter days, shifting towards brighter days. Man, Taurus, I hope so. I hope so. This is a tough times we're all living through, so this feels like a little bit of a welcome vibe. Okay. We're going to use the slow Holler tarot and get to clarifying. Let's start with the Page of Pentacles, this thing you've been sort of hesitant to offer. Or hesitant to pick back up. Okay. Visionary of Knives actually just came out for the Aries reading. Oh, weird. Seven of Stones also. I placed them randomly back in the deck and then shuffled a bunch. So that's sort of fascinating. But it actually makes sense because Seven of Stones is a hesitance. It's this card of like, hold, wait. Time has to pass. Something has to unfreeze before this can move forward. Because I almost see the laying of the stones on the grid as like a freeze spell. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. And then the Visionary of Knives did come out reverse. And this is the Queen of Swords. And typically this card is about upholding boundaries and like sharp communication. You can see that it's like a little aggressive in the way it's coming forward. So I think it's sort of interesting. Aries got these cards as well, and Aries is very different from you, Taurus. Aries is ruled by Mars. So there is this sort of like aggression to Aries. And then there's this Taurus energy that's ruled by Venus, and it longs for a softer type of life and more harmonious connections. So I think it's interesting that Aries was sort of shifting into this like fight mode, and you, Taurus, seem to be shifting out of that And like maybe there's like a softening of the boundaries, a softening of this like sort of hardened freeze space where you felt like you've had to defend yourself or defend something. This is really just reminding me of like, and this could be showing up so many ways, but one of the ways it's reminding me of is like families fighting, or like someone holding a grudge for a really long time. And wanting to drop it, but being sort of scared to release that boundary and release that like attack mode, that ferocity, that need to like protect yourself against something, but actually really, really wanting to soften and reunite. Reunited and it feels so good. Okay, what else for this Page of Pentacles? Hesitating. Okay, Three of Stones. Sometimes I see this as like making plans, you know, because it's like this journal or this planner, and it's like you're sketching out what the scenarios might look like if you reached out to this person, or if you started this activity again, or if you went back to doing this thing. Maybe you've been hesitating because you've been in kind of like, you've been thinking through this scenario. You've been doing a little bit of planning, but I'm also seeing this as like a closed book. Just you over here. Here's the Page of Pentacles, the Taurus vibe of just like being sort of, I have this plan, I have this idea, but I'm keeping it over here, you know, or I have this thing I want to do, but I'm not ready to reveal it. Or I have this thing I want to say to this person, but I need to write it out in my journal a little bit more, you know, like if we do the gesture that this person's doing in the card, we get this, I'm not sure that I'm ready to launch it yet. I'm not quite sure that I'm ready. And that could also be a different interpretation of the Queen of Swords upside down. Like, I'm not sure if I'm ready to say the thing. And the Queen of Swords is speaking the truth very clearly with no hesitation and not mincing words. And so coming out in reverse, it's like, I'm not really sure that I'm ready to say this. Or I'm not sure that I'm ready to pick this thing back up or open. I just see this as like something really personal. Like, I'm not sure I'm ready to open the journal like that. Yeah, and then like the Seven of Stones would almost be this like grid of protection over it, sort of like hiding your secrets or keeping your journal protected from prying eyes. There is something about that where you're like feeling the need for sort of like privacy and secrecy and not wanting to open up in this Ten of Cups, Six of Cups sort of way. So then let's see what happens. What shifts you towards that Six of Cups reconnection? And again, it can be like reconnecting with a person, or it can be reconnecting with something that you used to do, or like yeah. This is too many cards that came out, so let's shuffle again. What's the process of getting Taurus towards reconnection? Traveler of Branches is the Knight of Wands. traveler is someone on the move. And here we almost see like a chicken with its head cut off type vibe. It's obviously not a chicken, but it's like stamping around, breaking the sidewalk as you go, like bull in a china shop because you're not looking where you're going, or like there's no ability to look where you're going. I think maybe that's the fear, is that like you don't want to be reckless. Or maybe you perceive like this reconnection as sort of a reckless act. Or maybe you're worried that the person or the thing that you want to reconnect with is like a reckless energy, either within you or that person brings that kind of recklessness into your life that you're a little worried to open back up to. The star is here. So there's this sort of like higher guidance. I see this as like a flashlight coming in from the full moon. Maybe eclipse season is helpful here, where something shines a really clear light, like spotlight on this person that you want to reconnect with. They're suddenly like illuminated right in front of you, back in your face. You run into them at the grocery store and you're like, shit, I can't ignore this. You know, it could be that, or like, just like shining a light on your purpose, maybe if it's like reconnecting with your purpose or reconnecting with an activity you used to do. Something's shining a light on it really, really clearly. And it feels like it's almost coming from a higher place when it's the star. Like Providence shining this Truman Show type like spotlight on this character in your life, or on this thing in your life, and I think it's sort of seeing it in a new way. Okay. Yeah, the moon. Funny. You should watch the Aries reading, maybe. This card came out for them too. Indicating eclipse seasons, because we have when the moon encounters its nodes, the nodes of the moon, these points in the sky. The south node represents this like release, and the north node represents this like hunger, opening up for something else, like wanting to consume, to bring in, whereas the south node is wanting to let go and release and decrease. So we have that here with these like wilting lilies and then the hungry snakes, all happening at the same time, with these eclipses kind of shining a light, maybe introducing, honestly, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of a shakeup into what is otherwise like a pretty decidedly closed book experience. Like, okay, yeah, I have been kind of thinking about doing this, but I'm just like not going to. And then maybe eclipse season is kind of the shakeup that you need to see something very clearly. So what does Taurus need to see clearly in order to make this reconnection? Wow, the kindred. Holy crap. And the Ace of Cups. What you need to see is your family again. Let's just look at this card first. It's hard to see, I know. But we're seeing these like cows, a bunch of animals just hanging out in the farmyard together. The farm kitchen is in the background. Somebody's cooking. The family of bears are hibernating or something. There's like, right? There's like a happy cow in the back. It's this kitchen space, very Taurus, where everybody is welcome to gather and just like be together, the kindred. And so there's this idea of like something maybe a little chaotic is shaking up your experience probably around the eclipses. We have the star and the moon, you know? So there's these like celestial influences that are maybe a little volatile this spring, which is true. Eclipses can totally feel like that. But it's coming in. Yeah, maybe there's like a shakeup in your family or in your friend group or something, or I don't know, it's just shaking your perspective, and it's shining this spotlight, boom, on like your need for family. Like suddenly this kindred, chosen family, chosen like friendships, companionship, family, it's just being illuminated for you in this new way. And I think, Taurus, it's the shakeup that you've needed to be like, oh, like, whoa, I do need to be with my family. I actually do need friendship in this way, or companionship in this way that I wasn't totally opening up to them, you know? And so something you're opening yourself back up in this very vulnerable, very personal way, because I do see this like as opening up your journal almost, and like sharing your plans or sharing your feelings or sharing like what you've been going through and what you've been thinking with your closest people. And Ace of Cups, it's actually showing me this story that you've been sort of, because we see this person alone going through all of this like major journey. There's this huge like celestial event, and like the world is just so vast and changing, and then there's you in the middle of it, and all of that, Taurus, has been bottled up in a jar. And the Ace of Cups is an invitation to just unscrew the lid and begin the process of connecting with your feelings, or maybe in this case, reconnecting with how you really feel and being willing to open up about it. And the aces are new beginnings. There's sort of this bottled up potential for emotional connection that's present in this card. And that is actually what is being offered between these two. Is the cup of reconnection, which reconnection can sometimes come with major vulnerability and like sharing of feelings from the past. Opening back up your heart, essentially. Okay, tell me more about the Six of Cups for Taurus. Okay, the precipice, and yeah. So essentially, it looks like you're pretty in your head about it. The precipice is, again, like something is hesitating. You're on the verge of it. And because we have Neptune here, it might be, it might take until, or it might be like spurred. This whole thing might start setting off when Neptune moves into Aries, which is definitely a more like action-oriented sign. So that'll be around the end of March, like March 30th, and that will coincide with the Aries eclipse. So it really could be that the end of March is a big catalyst for this, for you to kind of get off the hesitation, get off the precipice with it, and move, and like get out of your head about it. The Eight of Swords is like really closed off because they feel like any move they make, they're gonna get hurt, or they're gonna, if I, any way I say it, it's gonna hurt, or any way I go back and engage with this thing, it could be painful. Essentially, Eight of Swords is all of the stories we tell ourselves about why we can't do something. And if this person would just let go of the blindfold they're holding on themselves, they would see how to extract themselves from those paranoid thoughts and like get out of those stories so that they can get a shift in perspective that they very much need. But I understand, Taurus, because it's like if these ropes are cut, if you get off of the hesitant precipice, then you're sort of plunging into the unknown, which of course it's vulnerable. It feels scary. So that makes sense. The cards are kind of, I guess, validating that to a degree, validating those feelings. But I think really they're just highlighting like that it's coming from a place of fear. And the cards on the table that are more positive are all of the cups and the kindred. This experience is open and available to you this spring, if you are willing to risk the vulnerability that it takes to open up to it and invite that kind of connection or reconnection back into your experience. And like, I guess with the Knight of Wands, this Traveler of Branches, when you invite other people in, you do invite the potential for things that you can't control. Because you can't control other people. You can't, that's an element that you can't, Seven of Stones, this particular Seven of Stones sort of looks to me like perfectionism. Like I'm placing everything just so, and I'm controlling my environment in this way. But Taurus, opening yourself up to other people's feelings and to sharing those feelings in kind means opening yourself up to things that you can't control. But the exchange is kin, is family, is people that you trust to come and just like chill with you. That's what we're seeing in this scene, is this like beautiful, relaxing outdoor kitchen space where everybody's welcome and you can take a nap, you can hang out the clothes to dry, you can eat a little thing. Which is ultimately, I think, the peaceful experience that a Taurus is wanting and looking for. But again, you have to risk that vulnerability to get it. Okay, let's go to the Poesis Oracle and see what the advice is for Taurus this spring. What's the advice for Taurus? All three. I've been doing this a long time, and it's just, I'm stunned. I'm stunned. Open, unknown, union. Open to the unknown and reunite and reconnect and come into connection. Like, this is incredible. Okay, let's look at it together. Okay, so the Page of Pentacles here is holding this thing, but is facing the black chasm of the unknown. And it's interesting that unknown space that they are facing looks exactly like the wavy sort of whirlpool that this one is hanging over in the Precipice card. I just heard bound by your own design. What the hell? Okay, that is deep for you, Taurus. Like binds of your own design. Like you've tied these ropes and held yourself back because of the fears of the unknown, fears of reaching out through the void and reconnecting with this person, or reconnecting with your family, or reconnecting with like things from your past that you haven't really touched. in a really long time. Maybe this is like therapy, you know, like afraid of going to therapy because of the bottled up stuff from your past in childhood that it could unlock. But if you are willing to open up that, to be more of an open book, to share your truth, Queen of Swords, Visionary of Knives, like upright, if you're willing to sort of soften yourself, soften your boundaries a little bit, to allow a little bit more truth telling and sharing and vulnerability, to kind of unfreeze your hesitance, then there is this potential to open yourself up. And yes, opening yourself up could invite in more chaos than the Seven of Stones controlled environment that you've created has given you thus far. But it could also open you up to the kindred, the community, the people, the family that you've been missing. It could open you up to union, to sharing with each other again, to feeling that closeness. I mean, this is just opening your heart. That's all this reading is opening your heart. It's really beautiful. Okay, Taurus, I hope this was helpful. Happy spring. If you need a personal reading to navigate the eclipses, get at me. Otherwise, take care.